Hello friends, Matthew Zachary here. You've been told that the American healthcare system is broken. It isn't. It's working exactly as designed. Delays, denials, dehumanization. For decades, it's been profits over patients. You need proof? What's the first question they ask you? What insurance do you have? That tells you everything. And it isn't just big health insurance. It's the American Medical Association, it's labor unions, it's employers, politicians from both sides, and even the IRS. Yes, the IRS. They built it this way. And now it's time we the patients rig the system in our favor. Here's the prescription. We the patients, understanding, navigating, and surviving America's healthcare nightmare. My new book by me, Matthew Zachary, a 30-year brain cancer survivor, the founder of Stupid Cancer, the host of this podcast, Out of Patients, and co-founder and CEO of We the Patients. Pick up your copy of We the Patients today wherever books are sold, or visit wethepatientsbook.com to learn more.
If you've been dreaming about a place where life feels a little more intentional, discover the Canopy in Sebastopol by City Ventures. This new community offers solar-powered homes, surrounded by mature trees, nature preserves, and walking trails, with a vibrant local downtown, renowned wineries, and the Bay Area all within easy reach. Enjoy low-maintenance living, refined design, and built-in eco-friendly features that make everyday life easier. Start your next chapter at the Canopy by City Ventures. Visit cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.
Hello friends, welcome back to Out of Patients. In science, progress isn't just slowed by what we don't know, it's strangled by systemic barriers built on bias, bureaucracy, and buried history. Then there are the gates that guard access, diminish diversity, and dampen discovery. So, when barriers need breaking, we send in Oliver Bogler. Here is the latest dispatch from Season 2 of Standard Deviation. Take it away, Oliver.
There is a concept in physics called a field, an invisible area of influence. You can't see gravity, but you know it's pushing on you. You can't see a magnetic field, but if you hold a compass, you know it's there. Dr. Nirosha Murugan has made it her focus to connect these invisible fields to real-world biomedical challenges, like regrowing a limb that is lost. She is a biophysicist and the current Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Tissue Biophysics at Wilfrid Laurier University. And the science she does? Sounds like magic.
Isn't magic and science the same thing until we understand the mechanism? So I guess we're all magicians in some context.
Nirosha is trying to do something that seems impossible. She's using bioelectricity and physics to advance medicine. She was part of a team that developed a wearable bioreactor to deliver compounds that can kickstart developmental programs, successfully triggering limb regeneration in frogs. It's the kind of work that has the potential to change patient care. But when it was time to share these discoveries with the world, Nirosha found herself navigating a different kind of invisible field. She calls it the maze. And unlike the laws of physics, the rules of this maze are unwritten. I'm Oliver Bogler. Today on Standard Deviation, we're going to look at what happens when you have a groundbreaking idea, but you don't know the secret language required to sell it. And what happens when someone finally hands you the dictionary. To understand Nirosha's trajectory, you have to understand that her work is highly unusual. She works in quantum biology. It's a field that sits right at the intersection of biology and physics. Nirosha looks at the body not just as a collection of chemicals, but as a dynamic network governed by physical signals like light and electromagnetic fields. She has a wonderful metaphor for how her perspective differs from traditional biology. She compares it to playing the piano.
You can give sheet music to two different people and it'll feel different, even though it's the same pieces of music. So the notes are all the same, but how one pianist elongates the space between the notes is experienced differently. We could be looking at the same model system. You and I could be looking at the same growth factor, but what's between the two growth factors? Is there information there? Maybe we should look at that space between the notes. Maybe we should look at the fields and things that we can't see.
But making the scientific establishment hear things in a new way is an uphill battle.
I recently watched a video where it very eloquently explained science is a social behavior. And the social constructs of science seems to be grounded on dogma. Right? We believe that, and it's interesting when we write papers, we say, we believe that. So there's a belief system even in our communications of science. And so when we start to push against what people have believed their almost whole lives, that's uncomfortable.
This discomfort isn't just an abstract philosophical problem. In academic science, if you make the establishment too uncomfortable, or if you can't translate your complex physics into a language that traditional biologists understand, your discoveries don't get published. And if they don't get published, your work doesn't exist. The turning point for Nirosha came when she was trying to publish her team's paper on limb regeneration. She had the data, the science was solid, but her advisor kept kicking the drafts back to her.
I was burying the main findings in scientific jargon, and it wasn't clear. He did say that, there was no pitch. What is the pitch? I was losing the pitch in scientific jargon. And so that's something that he brought to my attention several times. And the draft, I remember the final draft was version 71.
Version 71. Pitchy. For a scientist, this feedback was disorienting. Data is data, right?
If I write in jargon, only other developmental biologists are going to understand. But if I write in a way that perhaps engineers could also understand, clinicians, patients, for example, who've experienced limb loss, they might be able to provide their insights.
Nirosha had brilliant science, but she was getting lost when trying to communicate it.
I wasn't the best writer. It took me a long time to write, but the structure and the practice is not something I developed in my graduate training. By infrastructure, I mean some labs have grant writers. Really big, high productive labs have dedicated grant writers that help the trainees.
Without those resources, she was stuck. So she applied to the JEDI program, Justice, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion, run by the Life Science Editors Foundation. But for a fiercely independent researcher, asking for this kind of help wasn't easy.
Uncomfortable. I felt embarrassed. I was a scientist in training to become my own lead scientist to run my lab one day. I should be doing this on my own. So I was absolutely embarrassed to reach out or share or to openly talk about it.
She was paired with a volunteer named Marie, a former editor at a major journal. Marie didn't just fix commas. She acted as a dress rehearsal for the harsh scrutiny of the journal review process.
It was an iterative process. I learned a lot. It was not just that she was editing my paper. It was also learning the editorial process of what each sentence means, how the stats and the figures are all organized together. It was invaluable.
Marie also showed Nirosha that she was missing a specific tool, a document that can open the gates of high-impact publishing, the cover letter. If you're outside of academia, you might think a cover letter is just a formality. Dear sir, please read my paper. But Marie taught her that it is actually a high-stakes sales pitch.
We have a 1 8x11 piece of paper to convince one person to take this science to a broader community to say, we should give this science a fighting chance to get to the broader community. And saying it this way kind of gives me butterflies because it's the cover letter that is being utilized to kind of give the rest of the science that you spend years doing a chance to get published in places that will have an impact.
It worked. The door opened. The paper was ultimately published in the prestigious journal Science Advances. But when Nirosha finally saw how the game was played, it completely shifted her perspective on academic success.
100%. Before that experience, there was no playing the game, or there was no strategy. We were reporting as we found it. It's easier if you know the map to the maze, and you can be more efficient with your movement than you just trying every single thing. And then at some point you give up. We are humans with finite energy budgets. So I think having the map, if anything, it'll lower the friction and give you a better efficient use of our time to get the impactful parts of our science out there.
Science likes to think of itself as a pure meritocracy. We like to believe that the best data wins naturally, that a massive discovery about limb regeneration will simply rise to the top of the pile on its own. But stories like Nirosha's show us that data doesn't speak for itself. It needs to be told. And that telling has its own rules. The Life Science Editors Foundation taught Nirosha how. They taught her the language of the gatekeepers, and today, running her own lab, she does things differently. She isn't keeping the hidden curriculum hidden anymore. She explicitly teaches these unwritten rules to her own mentees.
I remember at lab meeting, actually fairly recently, there's a guide from Nature about how to do visuals, color palette, the location, the sizing, all of this matters. And so, yes, I try to go through this from a critical point of view with them for training.
Whether she is teaching them how to organize their data, how to pitch an idea, or even what colors to use in a graph, she is passing on the code.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She's making sure that she isn't the only one who knows the way out. I'm Oliver Bogler with Standard Deviation on the Out of Patience podcast network. Production of this episode was supported by the Life Science Editors Foundation.